Friday, everybody. Skyler here, as always, with Mr. Chad Boyson.
What's up, Skyler Stokes?
Hello, Chad.
How you doing, buddy? I like the hat today.
Thanks.
Very appropriate.
Yeah, it's really nice outside, and in the afternoon, I have a sunshade above me, but sometimes it's not enough coverage, like insurance,
Hey,
which we'll talk about later.
do what you can. Do what you can. So what's up? What's going on this week?
Man,
A couple things to touch on. I'm ready to jump right in because I wanna hear you've been doing some research.
yes, I've been doing some research on the crypto stuff, cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, that stuff. And then, yeah, so let's just start with that. So basically what I found, and I think we're also going to have somebody else join us for this in the near future on another Aloha Fridays. But long story short, cryptocurrency is essentially like the new investment that people are getting excited about. And a lot of the hype around it is because there's it's still a pretty new thing that I guess over the course of the last 10 years, it's been, in the investment world, there's been a lot more talk about it recently. And so from that perspective, when you hype something up, the stock or whatever it is that you're trying to hype up, like grows in interest and then it grows in value as far as a investment is concerned. So from what I understand, cryptocurrency is basically it's a product of and a transaction between like multiple parties. And the way that the blockchain technology works is it's basically just like an independent open source thing where there's multiple channels of people that are verifying each individual transaction between one person and another, or a bank and another, or an institution to institution. So it's basically just like it's third party tested via technology, basically. So every time that one of those transactions happens, like there's a quote unquote like coin or something, or some sort of product of that transaction. And that's what, from what my understanding is, that's what some of these coins are all about. And so as these technologies continue to evolve and grow, there's a lot more interest behind them. They're built for specific purposes. Like there's healthcare blockchain where between patient and healthcare provider, there's like a list or a log of all the different things that they've done. And so there's specific industries that these are set up for. Bitcoin in particular was like the original coin or token or whatever it is that you want to call it, that was established as a way to essentially basic buy and trade and sell and transact certain things, and because there's only a finite amount of Bitcoin, so to speak, like it just has grown in popularity. And so since its beginning, I think in 2008 or 9, when the financial crisis happened, it's basically like blasted through the roof, and now it's almost at 40,000 per coin. But something to also be aware of is it's still a fairly unregulated, quote unquote currency. It's not considered by the United States to be a currency. So each individual company can use it as like a way of transacting for whatever services or products that they want to purchase or sell or whatever. But at the end of the day, you can't go to a bank and say, here's my cryptocurrency, hold it, because it's still really volatile and kind of all over the place. So
I've heard a lot of different things from different people, like some very savvy investors who want nothing to do with cryptocurrency, and I've seen some very savvy investors that love cryptocurrency. I've seen mom and pop friends of mine that are very, very amateur investors who have made some money in crypto markets, and seen some people lose some money. And just this last week, I think interesting thing to note while we're on this topic is I saw it go all the way up to $40,000. I don't know, a week ago, for example. I don't remember exactly when it was. All the way up to 40, and everybody was buying more. Then it went down to 30, and then it went up to 36, and then it went to 32, and I don't even know what it is today. And I think it went back up to 38 or something like that, all within a week. So to say it's volatile is probably an understatement. But yeah, it's fun to watch as a bystander. But obviously, I have that FOMO too, because I'm like, oh shit, should I have some money in this? And I was actually exploring getting a Coinbase account this week, and just throwing 1,000 or 2,000, 3,000 bucks at it, and just kind of letting it ride and see what happens. So
yeah, it is really interesting. The way that I like to put it is cryptocurrency and investing in those certain types of coins. I mean, from my understanding as where I'm at right now on this side of the table, if there's a particular product or service or something that you want to create or build or whatever, like you can create a blockchain for that, and then that in turn can potentially establish your own cryptocurrency from that perspective.
Right.
So you can buy like cryptocurrencies on the super, super dark black market where they're like literally 0.00001 cent, and at that point you're basically just throwing money in a slot machine hoping that it's going to go up. You could say the same thing about every other one of the cryptocurrencies that are out there. I think that we're going in the direction where technology is going to be more used, and so that could be something where we might see some regulation on these things. But as it stands right now, with the information that we have and what we can go off of, it's still a really speculative investment. And just if you ever decide to do one of those sorts of things where you're buying cryptocurrency as an investment, just remember that it is it's super volatile and very speculative, and you could lose everything or you could make everything. So just be aware of that whole thing. But like I said, we'll get some of my colleagues, I want to say, in the crypto market who do this. They run a hedge fund, a cryptocurrency hedge fund. So we'll have them on here to kind of explain a little bit more about it. But
cool.
Yeah, but that's the research that I have for this week when it comes to crypto stuff. It's crazy out there though. Very, very crazy. Yeah.
Fun to watch.
Yeah, it is super fun to watch. It's exciting, but again,
whether making money or having even more fun.
Yeah, totally. Speaking of making money, I wanted to throw something out there for everybody who's watching. Generally speaking, at the beginning of every year, people start to do their I want to say like they go through all their stuff from the previous year and figure out ways of having, a New Year's resolution or talking about how they can make some changes and better position themselves for 2021. There's a budget and expenses worksheet that I created. So if anybody wanted that, we'll put a link in the description below. And then if you guys wanted to take a look at it and download it, it's free. So it's up to you if you want to take it. But
maybe I'll work on that.
Yeah, it's good. It's just
hurt, right?
Yeah, it's a fillable PDF, and then essentially it just helps kind of put everything into perspective and organize, I guess, your finances when you first start the year. And it's always a good idea just to do it, but I think now in particular, because COVID's really wreaked havoc, I think, on a lot of people's financial situations, and it's just a good way to reestablish those sort of boundaries and like understanding where you're spending, where you're saving, what you could do, what you could be doing better, and everything else. So saving is always a good idea. So just like we were talking about last time. But in that sense too, there's also something I want to ask you about, because I've been reading and hearing a lot about saving your money to put in real estate, because real estate is expected to blow up this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously, I want to say, in most people's opinions, it's one of the safest investments you can make. Especially if it's a longer hold for you. I think the important thing to think about when you're buying, especially, is to hold the investment. It's got to be a minimum 6-year hold. I tell people this all the time. Yeah, if you get into it and you need to sell in 2 years, I can't really guarantee you're going to make any money. But if you're going to wait for 10 years, there's almost 100% chance you're going to make money. For example, I made a post on my Instagram, the stats for December 2020 at the end of the year for year over year from the previous December. This is North County, San Diego only. So keep that in mind. In North County, there was a 19.2% increase in average price.
It's amazing.
20% increase in your home price in a year is insanity. I mean, you can't get that kind of return on your money anywhere. But obviously over time, it's going to do this, but eventually it'll go up. And that's been proven historically, always, always, always over time in California, you will make money. I know I've probably said this before, but it's like you can buy a house in Detroit for 50 grand and in 10 years, it'll be worth 50 grand. Buy a house here for 750 grand and in 10 years, hopefully it's worth $1 million. That's kind of the rough idea here. So for 2021, the whispers on the street are that the interest rates are going to remain low. The inventory is still low. And part of that stats I actually have right here, part of those stats I posted, the average days on market was a minus 48% change. So it went from basically 42 days-ish to 22 days. So days on market are shorter. Inventory is less. The amount sold is up and the average price is up. So if those trends continue, it's going to continue to be a seller's market this year. If you're one of those people that's been in your home for 10 years and you're thinking about selling, there's a little bit of a mass exodus to places outside of California because people are going, well, shoot, let's go get more bang for our buck. But I think it would be hard to come back if you ever did want to come back. That's the catch. Right. So if you do, if you leave, make sure you want to stay gone because it's going to be hard to come back. But yeah, that's what is supposed to happen. We will see. I think next week, the new president of the United States of America will be inaugurated. So that'll be interesting to see what happens after he takes office and if the rates are affected by that at all. That's, for me, my biggest question right now. Everybody's saying it's going to stay a certain way, but I'm not entirely sure. So if you're in the process of buying right now, and you can lock your rate at under 3%, I would lock it. I would even pay to lock it if you could, because I just don't see them staying this low that much longer.
Yeah, I was gonna say at the end of, I think it was last week when the Georgia Senate runoff was finalized, and the results came back that the Democrats have control over the House, the Senate, and their presidency. I think it was either later that week or like a couple days after that. Interest rates went from like 0.8% on the 10-year up to almost 1 or just over 1. So depending on how that continues to go, just like you said, it would be really wise if someone is a buyer right now, or if they want to refinance, to actually get everything done right now. Because the idea is like the administration, the Biden administration had talked at length about putting more money in the system. There was a $1.9 trillion that they're expected to bring to the table for extra stimulus. So if that happens, then that's basically going to boost economic activity, and interest rates will go up because the Federal Reserve will say, okay, well, now that we're kind of back to this normalization level of economic activity, interest rates will go back up. So something to be aware of. Again, do it sooner than later if you're planning on either buying or refinancing your house.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Anything else? I really like the idea of posting that worksheet on. So actually, I'll go and check that out today too and download it. And then next week, let's check in and see where we're at on the worksheets, because I'm interested to see.
Yeah, it's
and maybe by next week I'll own some crypto and we can talk about that.
That sounds good. Last thing that I want to do is I want to chat about the super sleek, sexy thing that everyone loves to talk about, which is life insurance. And basically, like I was also explaining, generally at the beginning of the year, everyone kind of revisits their financial situation. A lot of times people get older, things change, they have kids, they have families, they buy houses, they sell houses, assets change. One thing that you always want to be sure of is to make sure that your family's protected in case something were to happen to you. So I actually just wrote a blog post about it, and I talk about like how much it might cost for someone who's 45 years old, who has 2 kids, and they have a $400,000 mortgage, which from what I understand is like the average in San Diego. I basically just kind of talk through, how you calculate the amount that you might need for life insurance for a term policy.
Very smart. I just had the conversation this week. My dad sold life insurance my entire life. It's, emphasize the importance of it, especially if you have a family to support or people that are depending on you. It's one of those things everybody should have as part of their portfolio for sure.
And not just that, but it's like if something were to happen to you and you were the sole owner of a property, well, that property is going to have to go through probate if you don't have a trust. And at that point, like they're going to have to sell the property, to basically pay for the remaining balance of the loan. Well, if you have a life insurance policy that costs maybe $50 a month, $100 a month, you'd basically be getting all of that taken care of, so that you pass off 100% of that house price or whatever the value is of the house when you sell it through probate, passing all that on to your heirs, and it's all tax free. So it's planning ahead and making sure that you're taken care of, your family's taken care of, your heirs are taken care of. And it's really important for me because I've seen it firsthand how it can really make a big impact in someone's financial life. Sure. Having someone like have enough to a point where they basically set their family up for the rest of their lives, from a college standpoint, from a financial standpoint, from a house standpoint. Like it just makes all the difference in the world. Right. And it's just a nominal amount of money every year. So just something to be aware of. I feel really strongly about it, just protection wise. And so I just wrote a blog post about it, like I said. So if anyone wants to check that out, go to the website.
Right on, man. I appreciate that. That's a good point. And I think it's something everybody should be thinking about as well.
Cool.
So, right on, brother. Well, we'll check in next week. And you got anything else or what?
That's it. My bad.
Right on. Yeah. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Yep. Have a good weekend. Thank you, Martin Luther King Jr., for your tremendous contribution to society in the most peaceful way. You were the man.
That's right. Pure Aloha vibes.
Super Aloha vibes from Martin Luther King Jr. So, all right, buddy.
All right, guys.
Have a good one.
Cheers. Later.